Welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror film and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 2006's Hatchet, which was directed by Adam Green. I'm your co-host Alec.
I'm Erik.
And I've got a little bit of a cold, so sorry about my voice, but honestly, I couldn't think of a better episode to not feel good for than Hatchet.
Well, I hope you feel better. I don't know if you hear this, Alec, but there's some strange construction going on behind my house, so sorry for that, everyone else, too. We got two things going wrong.
I don't hear that, actually. That's good.
Good. All right, it was pretty freaking loud.
Yeah, so, we're not in our best state right now, but hey, we're here to talk Hatchet. This movie was so bad. I'm sorry. I want to be honest. If you like Hatchet, you're not gonna like this podcast. I don't think.
I don't want to go that far, Alec. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, and there's a time and a place for this movie, and it was called 2006.
No, you're only saying that because Kane Hodder's in this. You're only saying that because of this.
Stop it. Who else is in this? Robert Englund's in this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Tony Todd. Those are okay. But if Kane Hodder was in this movie, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't give a shit.
I mean, guess not. I kind of want to watch Hatchet too, because what's her name from Halloween's in it.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Harris, I guess, is in it. And I think they beef it up more. And I read up about, so this movie did pretty freaking terrible.
Yeah.
It cost about $1.5 million to make, from what I remember. And it made only like $200,000. So it really took a hit. However, when DVD releases came out, it made about $8 million in the DVD sales about a year later. So whoever was the director of this probably went through a drinking binge, my career is over too. I think we should make a sequel after the DVD sales.
And that was very of the time. That would never happen nowadays.
No. If you were a box office flop like that, there's no hope for a sequel at this point.
Yeah, you're right. Because, there's no way to make up on the back end. Because, I'm thinking about right now, Bert Kreischer's movie, The Machine, it didn't do great in theaters and it cost a lot of money. And they're thinking, well, if it goes to Netflix, a lot of people will see it. That's not what Sony cares about. They care about the money that it made in the theater. And The Machine's not going to go on Blu-ray and make a shit ton of money on Blu-ray.
Unless, and here's the thing, with DVD sales, this DVD did terrible in the box office and a lot of people bought this DVD. Imagine the Machine goes on Netflix and I'm going to watch it.
Nah, it doesn't matter, man.
You sure it doesn't matter? I'm sure the streaming numbers would matter to some extent.
No, because here's the thing. Sony puts up $100 million. They expect this, and they put it in theaters. That's their main goal, okay? There is no DVD Blu-ray market like there is in 2006 with Hatchet. So when it goes to Netflix, it's a one-time deal. So Netflix is like, well, it didn't do very well in theaters, so we're only going to give you this much for the streaming rights. And then when they get the numbers for the streaming rights for the amount of people that watch it, it doesn't matter. So then Sony's only going to get $10 million more from Netflix to allow them to stream it. And then maybe every person on planet Earth watches it. That doesn't mean that they have the money to do it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It sucks. Matt Damon was talking about it too. He's like, that's why studios don't take risks anymore because there's no DVD back end sales at all anymore.
I've seen that interview and he's absolutely right. It sucks. I mean, it kind of they had a sweet spot, they had hey, if it fails, at least you have the DVDs to fall back on. Now It's we really don't have anything to fall back on, so we got to make these live action remakes of Little Mermaid.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't want to harp on this for too long, but if a movie doesn't do well in theaters, it's not going to get a sequel. If it's a Netflix original movie and it's only on Netflix and it gets the numbers that Netflix wants, it'll justify the reasoning. But a movie that's being licensed to Netflix from a different company, they don't care. It just doesn't work like that with films. TV shows maybe, because they can be like, wow, the numbers really are there to make another show, but not with films. It sucks. But this movie defies that because of the time period it came out in. It's just lucky.
Yeah,
it's really lucky.
And there's been I think a Hatchet 3, possibly a 4. I wasn't sure if I read that right.
There's a 4. Victor Crowley is the 4th one. Yeah,
that's wild. That's too much.
But anyways, let's talk about this movie. I'm sorry if we're going on that tangent, but it is relevant because this movie, there wouldn't be a Hatchet 2 or 3 or 4 without the DVD sales.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, okay, so Kane Hodder's in it. He's Victor Crowley. He's the killer, which is cool. It's a nod back to Friday the 13th. Everybody likes Kane Hodder. It's cool he's in this. Starts off with Robert Englund. we're like, oh, this is interesting.
Another icon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we get Tony Todd too. So you're like, okay, that's what this movie had going for it. It had cool horror cameos, and honestly, the kills were pretty gruesome.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, what did you like about this? Let's start with the things you liked. I liked the special effects. I thought they were really cool, thought out, fun.
Yeah, I mean, like the kills. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those were what this movie had going for it. It was basically just kind of like running in the woods with shitty dialogue and then getting, good kills.
Like when that one guy at the end, like, gets his arms like ripped out of him, and then he just like slams them against the crypt. I was like, whoa, dude, that's so intense. That's so intense.
But it's funny though, because like what I just said, if I explained that about a Friday the 13th movie, I'm like, I love those movies. I'm like, it's shitty dialogue with some maniac running through the woods killing them, and the kills aren't even as good in Friday the 13th, but I still like those movies better, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah, I also like that Victor Crowley when he's like, there's a scene of him getting spoon fed, and he's just like drooling oatmeal all over his face, and then cut to like a hit in the head with an axe to like, he's been working out steroids. He's gigantic now. Like, what happened in that meantime? It's kind of like Jason. It's the same thing. Jason was like a little kid that popped out with the canoe or whatever, and now he's like a jacked up hockey mask guy.
Yeah, this movie basically just, it's like a Friday the 13th clone, but just way more violent, and you see the guy's face the whole time, and you know his name, and it's very similar to Friday the 13th. It really is. Instead of a machete, it's a hatchet.
Instead of like a random camp, it's like, let's go to New Orleans. Like, New Orleans is a ton of fun.
Okay, I like that. I did like that this movie take place in New Orleans in the Bayou, and it was really leaning into that. I did appreciate that. And you've been to Mardi Gras, right?
I've never been to Mardi Gras. I've been to a wedding in June, and the humidity, dude, was so bad. And we went out drinking the night before, and I remember just dying. And I did one of the swamp boat trucks, but we had a little girl with our party, and we couldn't do like the loud fan boat for her ears, so we did like one of those like just regular boats.
God, little girl ruins it for everybody.
Well, dude, it's crazy because like, the gators were like looking at her. I'm like, you better hold on to your daughter, dude.
They're like, she's weak, we can get her.
No, that's like the gators are like swimming up to her, but like the guy running the boat tour, it's like they're the craziest people I've ever seen. He's like, you know what a gator's favorite food is? Marshmallows. And he held up a bag of marshmallows, and all these gators started like circling around the marshmallows, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I am not in Kansas anymore.
I mean, and this movie did do a good job of like showing like there are alligators in the bayou, there are real dangers.
There's people puking in the streets, like it's disgusting.
I thought you had been to Mardi Gras. I've been to Mardi Gras, I think twice, and dude, it is insane.
It's a shit show.
It is not. You don't even think you're in America. It's just people drinking in the streets, boobs out everywhere. The cops are everywhere. There's no cars because people are just mobbing the streets. There's beads everywhere. There's parade floats. It's just
everything's sticky.
There's vomit and beer everywhere.
And hurricanes. Like, oh god.
And I want to keep talking about this movie, but I will say this: one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life is if you ever type in "Cops Mardi Gras." And you watch the episodes of like the cops, the TV show Cops, where they arrest people. They go to Mardi Gras and they see like girls flashing their boobs, and they're like, "Yeah!" And then a guy takes out his dick and they're like, "Get him!" And they're like, he's like, "I didn't know the rules." And they're like bringing him in. Dude, it is watch Cops Mardi Gras. It is fantastic.
I know what I'm doing tonight and the rest of the weekend.
It's amazing. Yeah, there's a Canadian guy there, and he's like, "I didn't know I was doing anything wrong." He's like, "Oh, you can do this in Canada? No, you're going to jail." I'm like, dude, it's great.
Girls take out their boobs, they get beads. He like immediately takes out his dick. It's like a stick to his face.
Yeah, that's literally what happens. It's you have to watch it. But anyways, back to this movie. I love it, dude. There's a group of like 4 dudes that are like, "We're going to Mardi Gras to help our friend forget about his girlfriend, like whatever." And then like half the friends are like, "Fuck you guys," and we never see them again. They just leave.
Yeah, it was just two guys like that just split up.
Yeah, you're like, what? Like, why did the friends leave forever? And so they're gone. And that would be pretty cool if they came back at the end like, "Dude, where you been?" Like,
how was the boat tour?
Yeah, like, that should have been the ending, dude. That should have been, because we'll get to the ending, but the ending was terrible. But anyways, so the friends split up. The guy from Grandma's Boy and Avatar, his best friend is the guy from Not Another Teen Movie and from The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Which I loved him in Not Another Teen Movie.
That is whack, guy.
Yeah. He's in Scream 3 also. I forgot that. But yeah, so so those 2 guys, they go off to like, I don't know, do like a voodoo boat tour or whatever. And yeah, that's basically where the movie takes off. They meet a bunch of weird people. They all get on a swamp boat tour, and yeah, let's talk about those characters.
Yeah, it's just like he broke up with his girlfriend. He's sad, and he's just like, I want to do this boat tour. It's like, why? Like his friends are just like, why do you want to do this? He's like, I don't know. It sounds fun.
Every girl reminds me of her. It's like, why? Every girl reminds you of her specifically? Okay.
Yeah, everyone like flashing for beads. Like, oh, she reminds me of her.
Yeah. Why do these drunk girls with their boobs out? Like, it reminds me of her. It's like, okay.
Yeah, the dialogue in this is just out of control.
Dude.
Like the setup, it's out of control. Sometimes I laugh though. They made me laugh a couple times.
I'm having trouble remembering specifics, but like it's so cringe. It seems like a middle schooler wrote it, or like a high schooler. The dialogue, it's. Can you think of any specifics that you liked?
I'm trying to remember. I can't. I should have wrote some stuff down, but there were some good jokes. There were some good jokes that made me laugh, but it was pretty cringe.
Yeah. Well, when I looked up the director, I was like, what else has this guy done? And it says Frozen. I was like, what? I was like, this guy directed Frozen, and then it's a different Frozen. But I mean, this guy, I don't know.
Wow, what a 180 that would be.
He's made so many movies that are named other movies. He made a movie called Spiral in 2007, which is not the one with Chris Rock. Then he made Frozen, which is not the Frozen that was made by Disney. So he's just made a lot of like weird movies that don't have anything to do with the other huge one. Yeah. Anyway, so the director, Adam Green, I think he's the guy in the beginning who gets killed. Who's like, I got to take a piss, Pa, or whatever. I think that's him.
Yeah. Oh, one of the lines I thought was funny was he's just like, yeah, he just stands there, shouts, and drinks his own piss. Like stuff like that was just like random. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Like when they run into that guy, it's like, hey, and the boat tour guy's like, and they're like, who's that guy? He's like, don't worry about him. He just like shouts and screams and drinks his own piss. Like so nonchalantly says that, and then like at the end of the scene, you see him just take a swig of something. He's like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I think he was supposed to be like the Crazy Ralph guy, right? He's like, don't go that way. You're going to die or something. Like, yeah.
Pretty much. He just shouts and drinks his own piss.
Yeah.
Like, just so like nonchalantly says that. It's funny.
I mean, it was very much like Friday the 13th, but just kind of like, yeah, let's make a little jokier. Like it was definitely a little funnier than Friday the 13th. I mean, let's talk about the characters that definitely are like ridiculous. First of all, it's Bill Murray's brother, who's the like Shapiro guy.
That's Bill Murray's brother. Holy shit!
It's Bill Murray's brother.
The director of the Beaver thing or whatever.
Yeah, Joel Murray. So he plays Doug Shapiro, who's like this porn producer who's like got these two girls who are just like so obnoxious. Like those two like porn star girls.
Like Girls Gone Wild, like, woo, there's my boobs.
They were like that, but they just were fighting the whole time amongst themselves.
Yeah, that was bad.
I went to NYU, like, fuck you. Like, it was just like constant back and forth. And I'm just like, this is so tiring.
Mm-hmm.
So we meet those guys. So you got the two porn girls and the director, which is Bill Murray's brother. Then you got the guy from Office Space, who I cannot believe is still alive, but he is.
He was also the cop in Richie Rich's Christmas Wish and in The Fugitive.
Oh, he's been in a billion
movies.
In a
ton of things.
I know. I feel bad not knowing his name. What is it?
It's like R. I think it's something R. Ralph or Ryan.
Richard Reel.
Yeah. I knew there was an R in there. I knew there was a couple R's.
Yeah.
But there's a point in the movie when he was like, I'm going to walk this tree. I just got a feeling like this actor was like, I don't want to be in this movie anymore. Kill me off.
Yeah, dude.
You got a sense of that when he's like, he must have been like, get me out of this, whatever the hell this is.
I'm just trying to imagine why he would want to be in this, or like why most of these people would want to be in this. The budget was so low, dude. So they didn't make a lot of money. It's not like anybody was like the Donald Pleasance. There was no Donald Pleasance in this movie that he's like, okay, a lot of the budget went to him.
Well, the budget definitely went to Kane Hodder and Robert Englund, if anything.
I think the budget went to the special effects, dude.
That too, but Kane Hodder and Robert Englund probably got a little penny.
Imagine this though. It's $200,000. It's not a lot.
No, it's 1.5 million to me.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm looking at that.
So 250 goes to Robert, 250 goes to Kane, or even like 200 goes to Kane, 300 goes to Robert. Then you have $1 million left, special effects, and they're probably paying everyone else like maybe $3,000 each to do this.
Oh my god, that's horrible. I don't even think that's legal. $3,000 for a movie. That's not. Especially
probably not that. It's probably closer to 10 to 12.
The guy Joel, like he was in like Grandma's Boy, like he was in a couple movies by then. I don't think he's taken. And Dion Richmond, that guy was in the Cosby Show. I don't think he's like, yeah, I'll take like $3,000 to go to fucking.
I don't know.
No,
you never know. You never know.
Maybe. I mean, I'd love to hear how the budget was dispersed, but I think most of it went to location and the special effects, and then probably. I think Kane Hodder made way more than Robert Englund. Robert Englund just sat.
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah,
for one day.
For sure.
Yeah, but yeah, the budget. I mean, they did a lot with that budget. To be fair, $200,000.
$1.5 million budget made $200,000, which is really bad.
Okay, so 1.5 actually is not. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Never mind.
You retract your statement.
Yeah, I do. So the other characters that are on the boat, we've got that one. What's his name? He's the Asian actor.
The tour bus guy.
Yeah,
right? The tour boat driver. This is his second time doing this tour, and he's putting on a fake Louisiana accent, which I thought was funny because he kind of breaks his character and just starts like yelling and I don't know, Cantonese or some kind of language.
Dude, I thought that was actually hilarious. And it was so good because he could do like a Southern Bayou accent so well. And then he would go right back to having like an Asian accent. And you're like, this is funny that he can do both like so well. This guy, I really like that.
That's funny. But it also like the couple, like the old guy who probably doesn't want to be in this movie and how like they're pretty much doing the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, isn't that like one of those, you know, the why they keep the graves up above the water because the water's flood. And he's like, oh, this boat only has room for one tour guide. I've been on a tour, a ghost tour in Salem where someone wouldn't shut the hell up. And that exact thing happened. He's like, actually, they put the bells in the casket because, you know, to keep away. It's like, all right, like, dude, I'm giving a tour. Like, don't one up me. Like,
why does that guy feel like empowered to start talking about the tour on a tour? Like, that's what the tour guide's for. So, like, what does that guy do? He's gonna go back to the hotel and be like, I told to his wife, like, complaining to her about it, like, he was wrong about that statue. I knew the real date. And she's like, all right, Howard, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Like, what? Why does that guy want to do that?
They have nothing else because they're bored.
I know. He wants to like go home and tell his friends the guy didn't even know the date of the statue, and then like that's what that guy's life is about. Like,
and he like harps on that for another like 2 months, and then brings it up once in a while at family parties. Like, oh, we've been to New Orleans and we went on that boat tour where.
Yeah, seriously, that's
like, dude, let it go.
Yeah, so there are people that are really like that. So yeah, this guy, dude, he's a good actor. I like that. Oh my god, why can't I remember his name?
Richard.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's great. I think Joel Murray was great. I feel bad though. Joel Moore, the lead Ben or whatever, like he's actually pretty good. I mean, at like a certain type of role, you know.
He looks like Adam Driver and Marilyn Manson had a baby.
Yes, that's actually really accurate. He really does.
Pretty much.
And then he got Avatar. And dude, I mean,
right, he got Avatar.
So
that's sick.
He's in Avatar, and then he's in like the new one, he's in the third one, so like his career,
he's fine. He's set. If you land Avatar, you're good.
It's just funny because like, you know, he did Hatchet and then not too well, he did a couple movies here and there, but his career didn't really take off. And then he does Avatar, and then after that it still doesn't really take off, but he still is kind of like in the Avatar atmosphere, so he's still gonna have a good career. But I don't know, I kind of feel bad for him.
No, dude, he seems like he's landed quite a few roles.
Yeah, he's doing fine. He's way better than me. I don't know why I'm complaining.
Yeah, dude, I feel bad for you, man. I feel bad for you.
He's listening to this, he's like, fuck you.
Yeah, I know. So what are you? That's what I'm afraid. I'm always afraid of these podcasts. Like, oh, I want to see what other people are talking about Hatchet today, and it's like us just ripping this movie apart.
Okay, yeah, all right. Let's not go too.
Hey! We like the special effects. We understand the budget. We like the idea of let's do Friday the 13th in New Orleans and do a new Bayou story. We like it. We don't like the dialogue that much. The jokes are funny, and it's clearly 2006 in a nutshell.
Yeah. Okay, I need to be a little less critical of it. I think I'm laying into it pretty hard.
It's a sleazy movie. It's just sleazy. There's no other way to say it, right?
There's just something about movies of this time where it just felt like they were just doing the gore just to do it, and I don't like
boobs
that.
And gore.
Yeah,
and just
I don't know. For some reason, in the 80s, it felt classier. For some reason, this just kind of feels like, I don't know, shock value for the sake of shock value.
Like we did Fright Night recently, the new 2011 one, and that one felt like kind of they're saying the F word like every other line, and like the original Fright Night had like nudity in it for scenes, but it like somehow was like kind of a classier movie. I don't know. It's weird how that kind of correlates.
Yeah, and maybe in like 20 years, if they make Fright Night the remake or Hatchet the remake or whatever, it'll be so bad that we're like, well, I miss the days of the boobs and the, vicious murder that Hatchet used to bring. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I will say this. I'm looking at the poster. I actually love the tagline. It's pretty good.
What is it?
It's not a remake. It's not a sequel. And it's not based on one Japanese one. It's Hatchet. And it's just like...
Well, there you go. They know what they are. They're not afraid to shy away from that.
It's so funny, though. It's not a remake. I'm like, it's basically Friday the 13th with a different name. But yeah, for sure. But yeah, so there are a few positives here. It is interesting to see how a movie can flop so hard at the box office, but then have a franchise based on DVD sales. Like, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, unheard of today.
I love that Tony Todd, his character's weird, but I like that he was in it for a second. Robert Englund, obviously. Kane Hodder, cool. Love that they're all in it.
Let's dive into the ending.
Oh God.
What was your take? Do you want to go first?
I mean, it's like the Sopranos ending. It just like cuts to black in the middle of nothing. I mean,
I thought my Amazon Prime or something tweaked out. I rewinded it. I was like, wait, did I miss, like, did something just like click out? Because you just see like the guy screaming and then it just like paused and then the credits roll. I was like, did that just skip ahead?
Yeah.
So like I rolled back and I was like, that's how it ends?
Yeah. Yeah. I was sitting there and was like, okay. And I just immediately just shut off, like, give me a break.
I would love to see that reaction. It's just like, oh God. Like,
it's an hour and 22 minutes. Like, I can't believe this is it. Yeah. No, yeah. Basically what it is the lead guy and girl get away. They're on a boat, and then literally just the ending of Friday the 13th happens. Even the music sounds the same. Like, it's like calming, and all of a sudden you just get Victor Crowley pops out, murders the girl. Or no, murders the guy.
Oh, question. They're in the boat, and then she kind of like, what happens? She just gets pulled into the water?
Yeah, she gets pulled in.
By who? Because so she's getting pulled under the water, or was she like stuck in seaweed or something? And then it cuts to like his arm reaching for her, the main character's arm, like, I'm trying to get you out of the water.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to her grabbing the arm, and it's actually Victor Crowley detached his arm and is like kind of playing a trick on her. But who the hell pulled her in the water?
Right. I know. Now that I'm thinking about it, like,
how does that all happen?
So for that to happen, Victor Crowley would have had to be under the water without them knowing.
Correct.
Pull her in.
Yep.
Then, like, she struggles.
Get her deep enough where you come back out of the water, probably soaking wet too, which he wasn't. Rip out. Very quickly rip off his arm and think, oh, I should use this as a way for her to like think she's saved. And then
it's like, this guy does not have this much like mental energy to figure this out this quickly. Okay, I'm gonna shove her down there, then she's gonna struggle, then I'm gonna break up here, break the guy's arm
I'm gonna
off,
swim really quickly to the surface.
Yep, use the guy's arm as bait to trick her, really scare her right at the end. It's like, why? I didn't think about that. And he's not wet either, you're right. He's like, right as he's about to like stab the guy at the end again, and it just cuts to black. He should be like soaked, but I don't think he is. I think you're right. I think he's dry. So yeah.
And then it just cuts to black.
And goes to the credits. And I don't know if there's a post-credit scene. I was supposed to like shut it off. But I think it would have been good if they had the friends. They're like, where's like Ben and John or whatever? Like, that would have been a nice little cap off to have the surviving friends that like went off and just kept doing Mardi Gras.
Yeah. That or show Victor Crowley like sitting at dinner having oatmeal again. I'm bored. Like,
well, they did make 3 sequels to this, and I don't know. I'm sure it's just more of the same, but the name is pretty interesting, and I think they had a really big missed opportunity. And I want to know if you think there was a song that they should have used in this movie and they didn't. And I want to know if you should know it, but I want to know.
Hatchet.
Think of the character name.
Crowley, Mr. Crowley.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. I think that would have been half the budget right there on that song.
Ozzy's like, "I'll do it for like $4 million." It's like, no. Yeah, that's a great song, and I thought, even if they got like a cover or like some other like
Randy Rhoads on guitar too for that one,
yeah,
that's as good as it gets.
That's a great song, so they really should have used that. Aleister Crowley is?
No, what's that?
Oh, geez, Eric, I thought you would know. He's like now I'm gonna butcher this. He's like the leader of the Illuminati, I think. He's like some cult. He was like one of the original cult guys. Hold on, let me look him up. So obviously that's where they got the name for this guy. But I was thinking it'd be cool if they like connected them. Hold on, let me see. He was an English occultist, philosopher, poet, painter, novelist, and yeah, you should look him up.
Is that what the Ozzy song's based off of too?
Yep.
Oh shit, didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so Crowley, he was basically like an occultist leader, and yeah, he's got a really, I don't know that much about him, but yeah, you should look him up, dude. It's pretty creepy.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's a great sequel idea.
Well, that's what I thought they were gonna do. Like, oh, this is like the descendant of like the Crowley family. Like, that's kind of what I thought I was gonna get into.
Well, maybe that's what they do. We should definitely do Hatchet 2 and see where this story. We should just to see. I kind of want to know where it goes, and I want to laugh my ass off.
God damn it! See, like, fuck. All right, fine. I'll keep doing these Hatchet movies.
Just one more. We're not doing the third. We're doing the second. That's it.
Yeah. All right. There's so many better sequels, I feel like, but
hey, we got a wheel that's never ending. Let's keep it going.
All right, Hatchet 2. We'll see where it goes. I know that I think there's a couple like, bullshit cameos and like, people somehow come back. Something I think, like the
Kane Hodder's definitely in it. I know I mentioned Danielle Harris is in the second one I read. I don't know what it's about at all.
I mean, can you take a guess? Take a guess.
I mean, if I had to continue this crazy story, it would either be the two friends looking for their friends right after the events of this. Like saying like he was on a boat tour, I don't know what happened to him, and they go look for Joel and the other friend, Marcus, I think. And then, or you could do that the ex-girlfriend trying to rekindle things with her boyfriend who died on a boat tour. Or maybe he's still alive, but he has one arm.
Oh God.
I don't know. That's all I got.
I like those. Those are, I don't know how the second one starts at all, but I do like the idea of having the friends go look for him or the girlfriend. I mean, that would be a little ridiculous. Like, what do you mean? You're going to just go to New Orleans and look for him, Cindy? He's like, I miss him. Like, that sounds crazy.
I miss him.
Yeah. Like,
I miss him so much.
I need him so bad. It's like, so I just feel like that is a little more ridiculous, but I like the friends idea. Or maybe like the friends call the girlfriends like, we don't know what happened to him. Like, can you help us? And she's like, I'm in college. Like, no.
And they go to that other guy who was like a magician, remember at the beginning, and ask him for help. Like, how do we defeat Victor Crowley? It's like, you need to use this magical stick thing that like summons bad things.
All right, fine. I'll watch the second one because I do.
There we go. Now you want to know.
Yeah.
Now you want to know.
Because these ideas, I'm like, they're kind of good. I guess I could kind of see where this could go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry. Right at the top, I was like, fuck this movie. But I still don't like it, but I can, it's fine. It's okay.
It's like, what would we like this when we were 16? Probably not that much. We'd probably laugh about it and be like, this is so stupid, but I don't know.
I think I would have liked it more when I was younger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have been more on board for it. But now, like, seeing so many horror movies and just being like, it's pretty derivative of a lot of 80s slashers.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. You know what also reminded me of? Do you remember the book Hatchet? Do you remember that?
Yeah, with the kid in Canada who, like, gets in a plane crash and the guy has a heart attack and he has to, like, live on his own with that hatchet.
Yeah, it was like a blue cover or whatever. You remember that book?
Oh, I remember that book. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We read that book in My Side of the Mountain. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, we read that in, like, middle school or high school or whatever, and I was just...
This is not anything to do with...
No.
That's like a fifth grader book.
But that's why I'm like, this guy, the director, Adam Green or whatever his name is, like, every single one of his things is named, like, after something else. You know what I mean? Like, Hatchet was named after a book, Frozen's, like, the Disney movie. Like, he's just got so many... Every one of his titles is something else.
Mm-hmm. Like, hey dad, I have to watch this movie for school. Like, I didn't read the book. And the dad's like, what's it called? It's Hatchet. And he gets him this movie instead of... There's a movie based on the children's book Hatchet, too.
Oh, is there?
We watched that in fifth grade, I remember. Shout out Miss Taddeo.
The dad gets the wrong one. He's like, this is what you're reading at school? Okay. Yeah, that actually be pretty funny. Yeah, he thinks it's the film, the film adaptation.
I did that for Huckleberry Finn. I didn't read Huckleberry Finn. I watched the movie and I passed my test because I just didn't read it.
Dude, when we were young, it was like, you got the Spark Notes, you're cheating. Now it's like,
kids are like, I just ask a question in the computer and it writes an essay for me.
Yeah, like literally, we're like, hey, you shouldn't use Spark Notes. Like, that's not cool. And here's the thing, we didn't even know how to get Spark Notes. You couldn't order it online then.
You still had to read the Spark Notes and decipher things.
Right.
And our teachers were smart enough to be like, I'm going to look at the Spark Notes and pick questions that you won't be able to figure it out with Spark. They would do that, like ask questions that didn't deal with the plot, but like stuff you had to like figure out. I hated that shit.
Yeah, I remember distinctly a teacher saying like, and by the way, I read the Spark Notes book, and we're just like,
Oh yeah, Mr. Door, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me a lot of times.
So that's it. It is interesting how much the world's changed, because we didn't have smartphones in high school. So like when we cheated in Latin, that took effort. That took a lot of effort.
Oh, that was skills. That was when technology was breaking out with the iPhones. Like you had an iPhone.
No. Those were iPods we were cheating on.
We had iPods. Yeah, and we recorded paragraph. Yeah, dude, that was some like next level stuff they weren't ready for us.
No, yeah, that was like we really were pushing the limits of technology and cheating in school. Like
in 2006, like in 2007, right?
Yeah,
2004. I think we did one, maybe 5.
I think 5. Yeah, I think we were sophomores. But really quick, we'll just give a brief how we used to cheat in Latin in high school. So, our tests there would be paragraphs in Latin that we'd have to translate from English to Latin. And we knew what the paragraphs were, so Eric and I would record verbatim from English to Latin and then convert it to an MP3 and then upload the MP3 to an iPod and then put the iPod in our pockets, run the wire up our sleeves of a sweatshirt, and then put the sweatshirt like to our ear and acted like we were like, resting our head on our arms while we were listening into the translations.
Yeah, so we'd record it, but we'd also talk very slow so that we could write down what we were saying. So it'd be like, Virgil on Fama, paragraph 1, sentence 1. Rumor, alas, has taken over the city. And like, if we'd miss it, we'd go like hit back on our iPod and restart the thing again. And we'd have like the headphone in our ear as we're like writing it down. Dude, that was... So you had 3 options. You could actually learn the Latin.
No. Not doing that.
We went through 4 years of Latin. All our teacher had to do was go write 1 sentence of Latin on the board. And you got us. We don't know
like literally. All I wanted was a B-. So like I did the very bare minimum to get a B-. But yeah, if he was like write 1 sentence in Latin on the board.
Anything you want. And you're just like, so you got an A+ on this test. How did you do?
I'd be like, can I get my sweatshirt?
Or one time I remember I memorized the paragraph. I spent 10 hours memorizing a paragraph and I got it like pretty close. It's hard to do that like fully perfectly. And I did that one time and I did pretty good.
Yeah. Latin was a joke for us.
Yeah. That was my one class. That was bad.
I didn't cheat. And you really couldn't cheat in most things.
You couldn't cheat in anything else, but yeah, this was the only way. It was the way.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. Also, I remember reading The Scarlet Letter, and I couldn't read that book. And the teacher asked me, like, why didn't you finish The Scarlet Letter? And I was like, it's so boring. I said that in front of the whole class. Like, I fell asleep. I couldn't read it. That book sucks, dude. Anyway, spinning. Damn it. All right, looks like we're watching The Scarlet Letter. I'm just kidding. We have The Last Exorcism. Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, we're gonna have Will, our friend. He did the original Last House on the Left with us. He's gonna do the remake with us, but he's in Japan, so he needs to come back.
Oh, I said The Last Exorcism though.
Yeah. So we were supposed to do Last House on the Left for this episode, and
right.
So just so everybody knows, we're gonna do Last Exorcism, Eric and I, and then the following week we'll finish the wheel with The Last House on the Left.
We got to get Will on this. That's the only way. So
yeah, so that's why we've been pushing it off,
shuffling things around. This isn't like Poltergeist 2, people. Like, it's not that bad.
Like 6 months. So no, but all right. Well, anyways, everybody, thank you for listening into our discussion on Hatchet. Sorry if I was a little bit negative about it, but it's fine. It's a fine movie.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. So listen in. If you haven't had a chance, we released an episode this week on something. What was it?
Jeepers Creepers 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I paid Baldessaro $5, by the way.
Did you really?
I Venmoed him. He didn't get back to me yet. Maybe I didn't see it.
Oh my god.
Deal's a deal. He changed his skill on LinkedIn to Jeepers Creepers expert. So
that's true. Well, I can't believe he did that, but yeah. He like loses his job. They're like, what is this? You don't take your job seriously, and they fire. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening in, and we will see you all next week with The Last Exorcism.
Woo!